Hi and welcome to the next episode in the series Exponential Economy. Today we'll be talking about the intransigent minority, what it is and how to use that phenomenon. You will find out after the break. The intransigent minority, the term comes from Nassim Nicholas Taleb from his book Skin in the Game that was published 2008, and he wrote something like, it suffices for an intransigent minority to reach a minutely small level, say 3 or 4% of the total population, for the entire population to have to submit to their preferences. These small minorities, these stubborn and tenacious people, they are called intransigent minorities. And a small minority of these people is, following Nicholas Taleb, enough, or in many cases it is enough to trigger a revolution or a paradigm change that changes the history of the world. And we had many examples of that. In the French Revolution, only a handful of people started the revolution, attacked the prison of Bastille in Paris, and so brought about a huge change, a huge civilizational change in the history. Also, American independence and the Declaration of Independence was signed by only a handful of people, and it brought about a huge change to entire continent. The same with a communist revolution, right? That started with a shot from a gun, from a ship gun in St. Petersburg, and also, the activists, the actors of the revolution, there were very few people, extremely small percentage of the entire Russian population. But then, the population followed. They imprinted their will on the rest of the population. The same with the introduction of fascism in Germany. The fascist party of Germany, they were at the beginning a small minority of people who were extremely tenacious, stubborn, and knew what they wanted, and they enforced their will on the rest of the population and then also on the other nations. If you think a minority can't force the majority to do anything or to do certain stuff, it's just not true. Dictatorships are usually dictatorships of minorities. And sometimes minorities also bring about positive paradigm changes, like internet, like printing, many positive changes. I wonder what your examples of intransigent minorities would be. Give some examples, maybe from the past, maybe from today, from our times. Talking about two intransigent minorities or minorities that may become intransigent, and let's discuss about which of these minorities may win and may end up victorious in our times. We have, on one hand, the minority of people who introduce all these corona restrictions and want to set up a strict, let's call it corona regime or corona dictatorship, meaning an extremely enslaved society under the cover of a corona crisis or corona pandemic. And this minority is also very strongly connected to the minority of Economic Forum that wants to introduce a great reset, wants to reset the financial system and set up a new system that that is more globalistic and has an even stronger grip on the citizens, on the population. And then we have another minority that grows more and more powerful, and this is the minority of Bitcoin users, of Bitcoin owners, who with every month become more wealthy and of course more influential, and thanks to that also more powerful. And this minority of course wants to introduce also a new financial system, wants to create a system that is decentralized, that is free, that frees the individual from the grip of the governments, and that will substitute the current financial system, that will make it for the governments impossible to inflate the money and to rob the savings of the people by inflating the money. So let's discuss below this video in the comments which of these two minorities may win, and how the play between these two minorities will develop, and what are the consequences of that conflict, let's say, conflict of interest, right? And for the society and also for the financial structure of the world. I invite you to leave the comment, of course. I hope you like this video. Give me a thumb up if you did, thumb down if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't, but first of all, subscribe to the newsletter here below this video, because YouTube does not notify people about new videos. So if you don't want to miss my videos, subscribe to the newsletter. Share this video with your loved ones, with your friends. One day they will thank you for that. I talk here a lot about economy, about money, about doing great impossible things in your life and business, about billionaires, how they think and act, how the best entrepreneurs in our time think and act. So if you like this video, you will certainly like my other videos. I invite you to watch them. That's it for today. I wish you a fantastic day. Let's do something extraordinary today.